Hey everyone, Dr. Tony, psychotherapist, success and leadership mentor and educator, and mama of four. I am so glad that you're here on my channel today. Today, I want to talk to you about a conversation that I actually had with my 5-year-old the other day. So we were in the car, and I was listening to some inspirational something, and someone mentioned the word selfish. And so my 5-year-old's in the back, and he said, my brother called me selfish on the bus the other day. And so we got in a conversation about what selfish means. And I started talking to him about how there's two different kinds of selfish. And this is a really relevant topic to so many of us. I've had to have this similar conversation with many folks, helping service professions, therapists, coaches, mentors, healers, supervisors, like people that have a good heart and they really mean well and they want to do well, but they don't want to be selfish. Okay. So there's two versions of selfish is what I explained to him. There's a healthy version and there's an unhealthy version. Selfish is not bad. We just need to know which version of selfish we are using. So the unhealthy version of selfish is the one that most people think about. It's the one when you're like, I only care about myself and I don't care about you. Like, what matters to me is what matters most, no matter whether it affects you in a negative way or not, right? And then there's the healthy selfish, which is where self-care comes in. It is the selfish of, I care about myself, about taking care of myself, about meeting my needs and understanding my wants so that I can be the version of myself that I'm proud of. So I can show up in my life, in my relationships, in this world in a way that I'm proud of. That actually helps me to show up as a better mom, friend, partner, X, Y, and Z. And so this healthy selfishness is very much needed. And it is embedded, it is a part of, it is integrated, it is one and the same with self-care, right? It is this sense that caring for myself is important. And in fact, it is healthy and needed. And in doing so, I'm actually contributing and connecting with the world in a healthier way. It's allowing me to do that in a healthier way. So this is a good thing. And I didn't use quite these words with him, right? But I did explain there's a healthy selfish and there's an unhealthy selfish. And then in his 5-year-old words, I explained what that meant. And his head was nodding and he was asking questions and he was really into this conversation. And he said, what did he say? It was something like, so either way you can get what you want. Gosh, what did he say? It was something like, either way you can get what you want. And I said, he said something like that. I don't remember his words verbatim. But what I told him was kind of, right? So with the healthy selfish, sometimes you can get what you want. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But either way, you are, because you're caring for yourself and you are connecting with yourself in a healthy way and you're contributing to yourself in a healthy way, that actually helps you do that more with other people, which means your relationships tend to be healthier, which means that you tend to be surrounded by people who also want to connect and contribute in a meaningful and more healthy way. So it benefits you now and in the future, like, and in the long run when you practice when you practice the healthy selfishness. But the unhealthy selfishness, it might seem like you get what you want in the moment sometimes, but in the long run, it backfires because when we practice the unhealthy selfishness, which is I only care about myself, I don't care about you at all, even if what I'm doing or saying is going to be harmful to you, like I don't care what happens to you, right? Kind of like an us versus them type thing. That unhealthy selfishness, even if you get what you tangibly want in that moment, the time you want, the gift you want, the whatever it is that you want, in the long run, people feel that unhealthy selfishness. And so the people that are going to be around you are likely going to be those folks that also practice the unhealthy selfishness more. And so those relationships are going to feel more meh. They're going to feel maybe more toxic. They're going to feel more unhealthy. And so your relationships are going to reverberate the unhealthy selfishness, the effects of that. And so in the long run, you don't get what you want because you don't feel better. You don't feel better when you don't care at all about the world or other people, to the point where you're like, if harm is done to you, who cares? It doesn't matter, right? So this is a differentiator that I think is really helpful when we talk about even just making decisions for ourselves. Like, how do I make a decision for myself in a way that doesn't seem selfish? Well, that's not really the question we want to be asking. Is this a healthy selfishness, or is this an unhealthy selfishness? And there is a difference. So I would like to ask you the question, what is the difference for you? Can you distinguish between the healthy selfishness and the unhealthy selfishness? And if you can't, or if it leaves you scratching your head a little bit, this might be something that you want to sit down and really have a conversation with someone else or with yourself about, because the reality is that we do need to take care of ourselves. And if we don't, and it's not just other relationships that may be impacted, like our own health is going to suffer in the long run. And so we need to be aware, are we practicing a healthy selfishness? If we are, that's a good thing, even if other people don't understand it. It is a good, healthy thing that's going to serve you and your relationships and your contributions to this world in the long run. Or are we practicing the unhealthy selfishness? And if we are practicing the unhealthy selfishness, don't shame or blame yourself. That is just going to make you feel worse. Instead, just recognize that that's what's happening and start choosing in those moments where you're like, oh, I'm kind of going to unhealthy selfishness category. Start choosing in those moments to practice. What would healthy selfishness look like in this situation? We don't need to throw the word selfish out, right? Like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not a fan of that saying, but it's that same concept, right? Like, we don't need to throw the whole word, the whole idea of selfishness out the window in order to be a quote unquote good person. And that is often talked about in many circles of folks that are very caring for other people, leaders that want to be really compassion-led leaders, right? We don't need to throw the word selfish out as though it's just a completely bad thing, bad word, a complete bad concept. It's not. We just need to be aware, is this a healthy brand of selfishness that we're practicing here? Is this an unhealthy brand of selfishness that we're practicing here? Go ahead and ask yourself that question, see what comes up. And if you want to leave comments, contributions below, I'm happy to have you contribute to the community in that way, because the more we have these conversations together, the more we can move forward together in these areas. So if you found this video helpful, thank you so much for being with me. Go ahead, push the subscribe button, share it with a fellow leader, parent, professional, entrepreneur, other folks that are out there that are maybe wrestling with this concept of, I don't want to be selfish. Send this to them. See if it might spark something for them too. Till next time.